Dante, following Virgil, comes to the gate of hell, where, after having read the dreadful words that are written thereon, they both enter. Here, as he understands from Virgil, those were punished who had passed their time, for living it could not be called, in a state of apathy and indifference, both to good and evil. Then, pursuing their way, they arrive at the river Acron, and there find the old ferryman Charon, who takes the spirits over to the opposite shore, which, as soon as Dante reaches, he is seized with terror and falls into a trance. Through me you pass into the city of woe. Through me you pass into eternal pain. Through me among the people lost for aye. Justice, the founder of my fabric, moved. To rear me was the task of power divine, supremest wisdom and primeval love. Before me things create were none, save things eternal, and eternal I endure. All hope abandon, ye who enter here. Excerpt from Dante's The Divine Comedy, Inferno, Canto 3.
Bravo, bravo, it was beautiful.
Yes. You guys won't know how many cuts that reading has.
Not that many.
No.
We just only went
Honestly,
to
it was. Yeah, that's the only one that was my fault.
That might have to be the end
Well,
of the
and at one
episode.
point my computer decided it wanted to take off.
And then my computer, boom.
Welcome to Remnants.
Welcome.
I'm Kayla.
And I'm Emily.
And here we are, I don't know.
It's been a weird day.
It has been an odd day.
It's Saturday, which, you know, is unusual for us to record on. But I think I had a small coma last night. I fell asleep. I think it was like 11 maybe, and I woke up at 11.
You was dead to the world.
I was dead. We were supposed to meet up like late morning, early afternoon to start working. And I woke up like a couple times off and on throughout the morning. But then I really woke up at 11, and I was just like... And I was like, what the fuck? Where am I?
Like, what
time is it? What is this life?
What realm am I in?
Yeah, and then I texted Kayla. I was like, I just woke up. So we are here at nearly 3 o'clock, finally getting started with my coffee, because I can't...
Well, it's morning to you.
It is morning to me. I feel like I'm finally coming back to life.
Yeah.
Anyways...
I thought I would tell a story which we've maybe talked about on the podcast in the early days, but it's kind of related to what our topic is today. But do you remember when we went to Eureka Springs, way back? It was before we had the idea for the podcast, but we hadn't recorded anything yet.
It yet by then?
No, because this was in March of 2021.
How much things have changed?
Was it March of 2022? I don't know. It was a long time ago.
It's probably 21.
I think it was 21. Or shit. I don't know. Well, I don't think we had started the podcast
It's 22,
yet,
I think, yeah.
22. But do you remember? Well, I don't know why, but on the drive back, we were like, look, it's a cemetery. And we pulled over. It was that little white church, and there was the little cemetery next to it. And I don't know if we just stopped to stretch our legs, or at this time we thought, like, any cemetery was cool.
I forgot about this.
And, like, the parking lot had cars in it. But the church was empty. Remember, there was no people anywhere. Like, the church looked closed up and dark. And we're like, okay, there's like a parking lot full of cars, but where the fuck are all the people?
Yeah, like right across from us was a cornfield.
Yeah. And their cemetery, like, there was no people in the cemetery.
The church was a tiny church.
Yeah, so it's like, were they in the deep bowels of the basement?
There were totally flies around the
There was
trunks.
Flies everywhere.
I forgot about that.
Remember, like, we so quickly were like, nope.
We should leave.
We should leave. Like, we're gonna get murdered. And we were just in the middle of nowhere, Missouri. Like, it was off some country road. I have a few pictures from there, like 3. And we'll have to post them.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, like, I still think about that place. Like,
I think I scrubbed that from my memory. That was like the beginning, our origin story.
It was, and it was so creepy.
Yeah, that was one of the more creepy places we've been to.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah.
Because I think there might have been dead people in those cars.
Like, how long had they been? Well, all the fact that the flies were all like...
That part creeped me out. I was like, okay.
And then I just kept being like, where are these people? Like, there's no one around. It was dead quiet. Like, I mean, it was like a Sunday during the day, but like, so it's like, where were these people? They should have been in the church at service. Yes, they were in the basement.
Yeah, I think we like slipped into a Twilight Zone or something briefly.
Yeah, we were like, nope.
Narrowly escaped,
Yeah.
hopefully. Or maybe that's when our haunting began.
That's where we've carried with us ever since that random church in the middle of nowhere, Missouri.
It's possible.
Yeah. But
Totally forgot about that, damn.
I kind of did too until I was like, well, our topic today is Stull Cemetery, and there's a lot of similar themes. I was like, remember that place Emily and I went?
Oops.
It might have also been a portal to hell.
To hell.
A portal to something. Portal to hell.
That's
We
what
might
I
have to
think
put
would-
that at the end of the
Oh,
episode.
absolutely.
My southern accent or something slipping out.
That was your little demon sneaking through. Hell!
Yeah, so I don't know, Stull Cemetery, it's pretty famous in the paranormal and supernatural community, but I thought it would be a good story to talk about because it's really close to us. I mean, relatively close, like an hour away.
It's pretty close for a portal to hell.
Yeah,
as far as that goes.
it's in Kansas. It's like between Lawrence and Topeka. It's just like a kind of, there's really not anything there except the cemetery, and my computer wants to take off. I might have to switch to my notes on my phone.
I can fly.
I
I can touch the sky.
think about it every night and day.
Spread
my wings and fly
away. This just
I
reminds me of Space
believe
Jam.
I can soar.
I want to watch Space Jam now. Can we have a movie night?
Yeah.
This is totally
I haven't watched Space Jam in like probably 20 years.
I feel like there was something I was going to tell you we needed to do together, but now I can't remember. Totally off topic. I am so sorry.
No, this is the Saturday vibes you guys are getting. Sunday, when we record on Sundays, we're very nihilistic. This is, I don't know what this is.
There's some small amount of hope left in me.
It is not the dread of Sunday scaries yet.
Not yet. We'll get there.
Yeah. And now I have that song stuck in my head. Where was I talking? Oh, we're Stull. So Stull is in Kansas, Stull Cemetery, but it's on private property, and they really don't let anyone go there. It's they take it very seriously.
Yeah, like
I don't think we could visit. Like, they don't even really give people permission. Like, it's really hard to get permission.
So I don't remember who was it. Your parents you're talking to, or somebody who's just like, if you go, just let the
Yeah, my mom's boss was like, well, you could probably try to get permission from, like, the Lawrence Police Department, and they might, like, let you out there. And it's like, okay, weird.
I don't know if I'm ready for that. I can't even ask somebody, like, out and about.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe down the road, we
Get brave
can,
enough.
get brave enough to ask. I don't even know if I want to, like, do we want to investigate a place that might be one of the 7 portals to hell?
Yes.
That was a quick yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
There
Why
are
not?
7 though?
Yeah, I don't know, allegedly.
Huh. Is one of them a Taco Bell?
Sure.
Did you see that Taco Bell has new items coming out?
No.
I'm thrilled.
We're going to have to check it out.
Yeah.
Well, we need to go on some ghost hunts because that is our ghost hunting meal is Taco Bell.
They're releasing a Baja Blast pie.
Like dessert, like pie?
Yeah. Like, it's like a bright blue pie.
I mean, I'd try it.
I would too. And I think they've got chicken nuggets now.
Oh.
Which makes my life better. Cause
Yes.
my child,
Loves chicken nuggies.
he needs some nuggies.
And he only likes them in nuggie form.
Only
Nuggie
nuggie
shake.
form. If it's strippy form,
No. No go.
oh. I'm sorry, I am ADHDing hard today.
It's all good. I tried to look up, like, what are the other portals to hell, but a lot of people kept saying it's one of the, like, articles I read or podcasts let's do. Stull is one of the 7 portals to hell. And I'm like, well, where the hell are the others? But, you know, there's kind of gates of hell are just, I don't know. I think it's a common terminology for places, like, with geographical, like, weirdness, like volcanic areas or lakes or caves or mountains.
Yeah,
so
I
it's
could
kind
see
of interesting, though, that, like, this very flat plain in Kansas is a portal to hell.
That's interesting, because I could see, like, obviously, like you said earlier, people's, especially if they see, like, I don't know, I could think, like, Yellowstone or something with all these weird-ass things in the ground that'll kill you.
Yeah.
Like, that seems like it could be connected to, like, the underworld or something bad, or Or I guess something you've got to sacrifice things to.
Right.
But I get that. But yeah, Stull, Kansas. That one's a bit confusing.
Yeah, and I don't know, like, I was thinking, could it just be like, you know, people talk about there's places on the earth where the veil is thinner. Is it one of those kind of things? Like, it just makes it easier to...
Could be.
To cross into somewhere else, like the underworld.
Into the unknown.
But this is the musical episode.
I'm so sorry.
Let's do it. Like, how many more musical references can we get into?
Probably a few. I don't know what's happening, but I didn't even get my espresso shots in my coffee. That describe. I need a sticker that's espresso. That is so me.
We should have those stickers made.
Oh
That's
my
amazing.
god. I can see the font now. What's happening?
What's happening? She said her graphic design brain is working. Well, this is going to calm you down because we're going to talk about history. History. Dun 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 dun. I've got a whole lot of history. A little One Direction song?
History.
I'm kind of stretching, trying to find a song.
We'll get it.
All
We'll
right.
workshop that.
History. So Stull was originally known as a settlement called Deer Creek and was established in 1857. The area was settled by Pennsylvania Dutch and German immigrants. Mm-hmm. One of the first structures built in Deer Creek was the Evangelical Emmanuel Church in 1867. Say that 5 times fast.
Evangelical Emmanuel.
I can't believe I said it one time.
You made it seem easy, and that's like it's like my mouth stops. Evangelical Emmanuel. Wow, why did they do that?
Yeah.
Evangelical Emmanuel.
Especially like being Dutch and
Judge.
Dutch and German. I don't know. Maybe that makes it easier to say.
Evangelical. I know how you say that.
Whoa.
Excuse us.
You're so cool with your motorcycle.
And your small pee-pee.
And obviously, when they built the church in 1867, a graveyard was also formed next to the small stone chapel that same
Things
year.
you need to found a town. Graveyard.
Well, what's something that's always going to happen? Death. Oh, fun fact. You know the difference between a graveyard and a cemetery?
One. Okay, let me see if I can remember which one's which. Is a graveyard the one that's in a church?
Yay!
Yay!
Points!
We should make a game element to our podcast.
We should.
We could assign points, and then whoever wins has to host the next one.
Oh. All right,
We'll
well,
do that sometime.
you have
Maybe
to
we
host
could do
the
that.
next one.
I won all the points. Yeah, I don't know if that would work for us. We'd have to have a quizzing element.
It
to
would be
everything.
fun if we left the questions open-ended and then you listeners have to, like, give us the answer.
But then, yeah, what if only one of us wins? We could make our listeners do the podcast.
That could be fun.
Can assign quizzes and be like, that's not ours today.
Yeah.
This is all on you. Research and present.
Yes. We will just host the platform.
You're welcome.
Welcome. Do all our work for us.
Perfect.
On April 27th, 1899, a post office was established, and the town's first and only postmaster was Sylvester Stull, from whom the town derived its name. Can you believe it?
I that seems to happen a lot.
The name stuck even after the post office was discontinued in 1903. So it only had post office for 4 years, but Sylvester Stull's name lives on.
I keep expecting you to say Sylvester Stallone.
It's very close.
A little bit.
A little bit. In 1912, only 31 people lived in the Stull area, and at its maximum size, the settlement comprised of about 50 individuals. And there was a promise of, like, a train coming through the town, which would have given them a lot of business, but sadly that never came to fruition. So the town has just always stayed very, very small.
So there's probably, like, more dead people than actual people there.
For sure. That is kind of interesting to think about. But despite their small size, they still outgrew the tiny stone chapel. So in 1922, the town raised $20,000 to construct a new wooden frame church across the road.
Okay.
I mean, that seems like pretty impressive funds for 1922.
Yeah.
For like 50 people to raise.
Yeah.
But anyways.
No, not bad.
They built their new church the following year, and they changed their name to Stull Evangelical Church. A little easier to say. And so then the old stone Evangelical Emmanuel Church was abandoned by the community. And just over the century, the church just like slowly fell into a greater and greater state of disrepair. And it was finally demolished in 2002. And though I think the town was pretty eager to tear down the church for reasons that we will get into, it was just also a hazard because it had become so, it just wasn't safe anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting.
Yes.
Very interesting.
But we'll get into a little more about its demolition.
Demolition. It's demonic demolition.
So during the 20th century, Stull suffered 2 tragedies. The first occurred when Oliver Banmeyer, a young boy, wandered into a field that his father was burning and died.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Oliver's tragic death led to the rumor that if one stepped on Oliver's tombstone, they would go to hell. So this is kind of when stuff is starting to, like, take place with these different stories. The second tragedy occurred when a man was found hanging from a tree in the cemetery after going missing. Now, this one's, like, harder to, like, prove. Like, there was no really, I don't know, I couldn't find anywhere where it was, like, documented. So it's, like, it's just one of those stories that gets told over time.
Do you want to know a fun fact about me?
Yeah.
Another random thing that I just remembered, so apologies. But I don't remember what grade I was in, but I was in elementary school. Mm-hmm. And you guys probably had this, too, but we used to have this, like, assembly come through every few months or something that was like this like performance group, and they would perform and act out like stories we'd written and submitted to them.
Oh,
it was really cool. I'd written a story called The Hanging Tree, and literally it was about a group of friends who went to this like cemetery at night, and there was a tree that had been used to hang people all this time, and like there was a vampire, and these kids had to fight the vampire to not get on the hanging tree and stuff. And I just like remembered very specifically I'd written this whole gothic awful story revolved around a hanging tree.
I love that you wrote that.
I don't know what grade I was in, but they performed it, and now I'm just like, was this not a red flag for anybody? And I wrote The Hanging Tree
in elementary school.
Yeah, I was just like, I feel like that should have been a red flag. But we just moved on from that.
Well, I mean, I think it just shows that you are in the right place. You found your calling.
I did, yeah.
A paranormal podcast.
Yeah.
That reminds me. Actually, I think my mom was kind of concerned by this story, but in 5th grade, we had to write, like, stories. And mine was a tornado came through a dance studio.
Oh.
And the lead character, I ended the story with, she was so tragically injured that she was paralyzed and she would never dance again. Why did, 11-year-old Kayla write that story?
It didn't even have, and then she learned to overcome
No! I ended it with, she will never dance again.
I want to know what teacher was read that, and I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I actually should ask my mom, did they have a meeting, about why did Kayla write such a sad story? And now it's funny, I hate things that don't have happy endings. I will only read, I will research a book or a movie before I go see it to make sure it doesn't have a sad ending. One Day on Netflix, that show, I really, I've been hearing a lot of good stuff about it, but it's I know what happens, and it's sad, and I don't want to watch it even if it's really good, because I need happy endings. But 11-year-old Kayla did not need happy endings.
11-year-old Kayla was very into realism and just...
I was going through some shit, apparently.
Never dance again. Wow. That's
so
amazing.
We kind of similar
we should,
stories.
Find all our childhood stories.
Oh, I'm sure I have it somewhere, because I keep everything like a hoarder.
I doubt I have mine, but it'd be really funny if we could find them and just be like, and this is us as children.
And this is where we wound up in life. I think it's very fitting.
It is. Oh my god, that's amazing. I can't get over the fact that you wrote that.
You think that's worse than you writing about a hanging tree? Probably. Because at least yours was fiction.
Mine was an adventure story, and they beat the vampire at the end. And it was, funny. And yours was and she never danced again. Take that. And weren't you doing, dance and stuff?
Yeah.
So, were you, terrified of
Well,
Never dancing again.
And there were some big tornadoes that came through, like, in my youth. So I don't know. Maybe it was more like maybe I was, like, actually worried about that happening or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
mine was fanciful and whimsical, full of magic and hanging. Yours was
just sad.
tornadoes.
Just depressing.
This is how Kayla coped with her anxiety as a child, and now she just stuffs it down and pretends it isn't there.
Exactly. I do. I'm very fine.
Right. Let's get back to talking about the hellhole.
So let's go back to a more recent tragedy that occurred in Stull. On July 25th, 2022, the new Stull Church mysteriously caught fire between 1 and 1:30 p.m. No injuries were reported, but there was substantial damage to the building, and they feared that the bell was going to fall from the church. So I think they just had to, like, reconstruct it, and they hypothesized that the fire was caused by a lightning strike, which is pretty, like, crazy.
It's really unlucky.
Yeah.
It's just, maybe they should stop, like, with that church.
Yeah, like, what do they worship in there?
Yeah, just, like, give up. Like, I think something's wrong. Or maybe that's what happens when you just build something in a big open field.
Right.
Like, there's nothing else to hit.
Well, I mean, there is some truth to that with lightning strikes, so, yeah. But, so those are kind of the facts around the town, but then it's like, so where does this story of Satan come into play?
Where does Satan...
Where does Satan come into action?
Find him a place in this story.
So, the legend of Stull Cemetery, it kickstarted in November of 1974 with an article titled "Legend of the Devil Haunts Tiny Town." This was published in the University Daily Kansan, which is the student newspaper at the University of Kansas. It was written by a student named Jane Penner, who interviewed students who visited the cemetery. The article claimed that the devil appeared in Stull twice a year, once on Halloween and once on the spring equinox. This led people to believe the cemetery was the location of one of the gates to hell, and that the small church was possessed by the devil.
Maybe he just really likes the area.
Yeah.
It's like one of his favorites to visit.
Yeah, for sure. He's just like, I love Kansas. It's so great.
Like,
there's so much to do.
I can just taste the despair in the air. I love how bored all these teenagers are. They do stupid things all the time. It's great.
Honestly, like, it really reminds me a lot about Felix's grave.
That's true, yeah.
Just kind of the small town, although Stull's way smaller than even St. Joe is, or was. But I think it's just like, I don't know, what do you do in a small town in the 70s and 80s? You go hang out at a cemetery, and you drink, and you just...
And I can imagine, like, getting that drunk in places, just out in the open. I bet you think some weird-ass things happen.
Or just anywhere, like, at night, you start, like, your eyes play tricks on you. You just can freak yourself out. And I think, you know, it just became just a fun place for teenagers to hang out. And, you know, then, you know, the student wrote the story, like, you know, around Halloween time in the student paper, and then it just took off from there. Some of the claims, though, from the teenagers hanging out in the cemetery is that they would hear unexplainable noises, and that they would also have memory lapses, that they'd like hours would pass and they wouldn't realize it. So then this kind of led, like, the town's haunted by witches and devils.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Fit right in.
You also, like, during this time period, you kind of have, like, the satanic panic starting also. So, like, I think there's just, like, there was a lot of factors playing into the legend growing.
Right, like, everything was the devil back then.
Yeah. Yeah. But after this article was posted, a lot of high school and college students from Lawrence and Topeka, they would, like, journey to the cemetery on Halloween or on the spring equinox to, you know, see the devil. And in March of 1978, 150 people showed up on the spring equinox to wait for the devil, who did not show up to his own party.
That sounds so fun, though.
Yeah.
Like, I would so go to that party.
Yeah.
Like, woohoo, devil at midnight.
Woo! Do you get, like, silly streamers?
I don't know.
What do you do to welcome the devil?
I don't know, but it sounds like a great, like, the idea of a party at any cemetery, like, I am so down. Like, please, if anybody knows of any cemetery parties happening, just let us
Just
know.
let DM us.
Because aesthetically, I need that in my life. So.
Especially as you're approaching your next birthday. Da, da, da.
I don't even want to celebrate this one.
We're going to celebrate it by visiting Sally.
Like, take me, demon. I give up. Honestly, help me take over this body because I can't do it alone anymore.
No. Please, possess me.
Maybe we'll do better as a pair.
Yeah.
It's too hard out here without a demon possessing you.
Need some help. Someone, anyone.
It's gonna be that meme where, I don't know, remember the exact phrasing where it's like, where a demon possesses you and they're like, oh my god, have you really been living like this? And you're like, yeah, have fun.
It's all yours now. So, in 1978, 150 people showed up for a party, but in 1988, very great year, 500 people showed up to the graveyard, and that's when the police started, like, shutting it down. Because 500 people, that is a lot.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
And it got kind of, like, out of control. Because, so then the crowds, like, the cemetery just became such a popular place for people to visit that, you know, they started, you know, vandalizing graves and stealing tombstones, and
I never understand
the church, like, I know, and the church crumbled, like, even more, because, you know, people are going in there and no one was taking care of it anyways. And the west wall of the church actually collapsed in 2002, and so that was part of the reason it was just, like, demolished. But even prior to the church being demolished in 2002, they had put a chain link fence around the property, and today, like, it's regularly patrolled by the county sheriff's office, like, all times of the year, and especially on Halloween, and they will, no joke, arrest people for trespassing, and the fine can be up to $1,000 or 6 months in jail, which is a little crazy, but
that is.
The townspeople just take it really seriously. They hate the attention that this brings and to their small town. I'm more like, you should capitalize on it.
I know, but I guess if it's like a more of a religious town and stuff. Like,
right, and it's such a small town. Like, I mean, it's like, you know, 50 people or less. Like, they just don't want.
And like with how much trouble it was causing, like,
yeah,
I guess the fun aspect of it died away. But you're probably gonna end up talking about this, didn't this get featured in like Supernatural too?
Yes, yeah, it's on my list that we'll talk about.
Okay, we won't go into it.
I mean, I guess we could go into it now, but like, it was going to be in my pop culture section of my notes.
Sorry, I've been like trying to keep it down, but I'm like, now seems like a good time to bring it up.
It is a good time. Yeah, so in the show Supernatural, that's where they have like the final showdown between Michael and Lucifer is at Stull, and so the creator, that's why he actually had Sam and Dean from Lawrence, Kansas in the show, because he wanted them to be near Stull, Kansas.
Yeah, which I love that. Like, I love how much Midwest references are in Supernatural, because it's just like, it too. Oh, fun. Uh-huh. But that's cool, though, that you'd think after that they'd kind of embrace it a little bit more.
Yeah, you would think, but that's the opposite. They're like, we're shutting this down, and we have cops constantly patrolling. And I was listening to the Ghouls Trip podcast on Stull Cemetery. Yeah. And the one host, she grew up nearby. I think she said her family's from Topeka. And she said every time she has visited this cemetery, Stull Cemetery, the owner, there's a house across the street, and she said the owners every time have been out on the porch watching. So, like, she said she's, like, couldn't even, like, try to sneak in there, because she's, like, every time I visited, she's, like, I visited different times of the year, different times of the day, and they're just, like, they're always on the porch watching.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, the paranormal community is one thing, but you always risk, which I don't think Satanists or things like that are by rule dangerous, because most of them aren't, but, like, you always run the risk, and you hear all the stories of, like, people who are interested in these things doing actual bad things. So I do understand wanting to, like, not let people do that, because at what point do you get to the point where somebody comes who's interested in actually hurting things? Mm-hmm. And with a place like that, you assume it's only a matter of time.
Right.
So I guess it's good to avoid, even if it's not fun for us.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, we had kind of been putting off this episode, because we thought, we'd try to get there, and the more I've researched it, it's just, I think it's going to be pretty impossible for us to investigate there, so.
Maybe if we get a little bit bigger,
That's
will
true.
have
Have
the
more
bravery
clout.
to-
But then they probably don't want that because,
Yeah.
like, I guess Ghost Adventures went there way back when, and they, like, I don't know, they really don't like to talk about, the city doesn't really like to talk about that.
If they don't like it at all, they're not going to really be interested.
Yeah. We need to find, like, some kind of family member that's buried there, because surely, like, people can, I would think, like, have access if you legit have a family member in that cemetery. So I need to do some research. I do have some Kansas family.
Surely I've got
someone in there.
We can lie.
We can lie.
Like my
I mean, my mom was adopted. We could just make up a whole story on
We've
who her
been
family
searching
is.
every cemetery for my relatives.
And I finally found them. Yeah.
Do I know the names? No.
So today, like, a lot of people agree that the legends were kind of really born from that, student article, but there was also, the rumors started a little bit before, at least locally. In 1965, an overgrown pine tree fell, and it split the gravestone of a couple who had died earlier that century. So, that was kind of like, because this tree split these tombstones, there was a rumor that the couple was involved in witchcraft. And then you have this article, 9 years later coming out. So there's just all these, stories kind of started and just kind of, snowballed into the legend that it is today. But...
yeah, that's an interesting... it's interesting that the story is so strong and, so well-known, despite, the town not wanting it to be known.
Yeah.
That almost makes it seem more compelling, because they just don't... It's like, what are they protecting?
Right, I know, it does kind of give off,
Yeah.
vibes. I think it could be, a cool horror movie, about what are they really protecting.
The town knows it's true, and that's why they keep everyone away.
Yeah. I'll go into some of the legends,
Okay,
that
do
might
it.
be good for a movie script.
Okay, let's do that.
So as I said earlier, Satan visits on Halloween and the spring equinox.
It's nice that he keeps it.
It's tight schedule.
Yeah, he's a busy guy.
Twice a year. One of the reasons he visits is to see his offspring that is buried there.
Oh.
There is a grave in the cemetery, allegedly, that holds the bones of the child of Satan, who was born of the devil and of a witch. The child was so deformed that he only lived for a few days, and the body was then buried in Stull. Some say that his ghost still walks among
So,
the cemetery.
do we know this devil child's name?
No.
No, there's just a mystery devil child that...
Yeah, just, there's obviously no records of this story,
Right.
but, another reason Satan visits, apparently, is to visit a witch that is buried there. Coincidentally, there is an old tombstone that has the name Wittich, the last name Wittich. And this stone is pretty close to the church, so, of course, with a last name like that, it's a requirement to be a witch.
Wittich.
But of course that was stolen, so that tombstone does not exist.
Who? Does someone just have a tombstone?
Yeah, because in Felix's grave, referring to episode 6 of our podcast, Felix's tombstone was also stolen. So it's in some attic or basement somewhere, there's some tombstone.
Does
just
somebody
hanging out.
have a bunch of property somewhere and they just have this little cemetery they've constructed of all the stolen tombstones?
But yeah, what if it's the same person?
That's a story.
That is. I like it. To write a little short story.
It's forming a MCU level collection of ghosts.
Yeah.
It's I'm building my team.
For what purpose? I will not reveal yet.
But obviously, if you steal someone's tombstone, you steal their ghost. It's like Pokemon.
Gotta catch them all.
Ghosts. Wow.
There's also a story that there's a pine tree in the graveyard that served as the gallows for condemned witches who return each year as Satan's army. Hanging tree, yeah. The tree has since been torn down, but it's Felix's grave also had a witch's hanging tree, so I think that's just a really common trope for cemeteries.
You see a creepy tree and you're like, I can
because
hang
also
someone on that.
Stull wasn't even founded till the late 1800s. I think the witch hunts were over by then, and I don't even think they ever really were a thing in the Midwest. So I don't think there's witches.
I mean, I feel like people throughout time could find a reason to want to kill a witch,
Sure.
but I don't know.
I don't think that was really a thing in Kansas
Not as
ever.
much.
They say that in the basement of the since demolished church, there was a hidden staircase. And if you followed that staircase down, 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 you would reach the entrance of hell itself. And if you can crawl your way back up the ladder and escape from the bowels of hell to reach the surface, you will have been climbing for weeks.
Hell yeah.
That is, if the devil even lets you go.
Let's just end it now. Take me, devil.
And rumor is that the stairs are still there in the foundation that's left of the demolished church.
That's kind of
But,
cool.
I mean, I don't have any proof of that. I couldn't find any on the internet, but you never know. There could still be some stairs.
Staircase. Like, I just imagine, like, every Halloween the devil just walks up the stairs.
Do, do, do.
And then he gets to the top and like, I'm
here! I love this version of the
I just
devil.
watched this show called Has Been Hotel. I don't know if you've seen it
I
at all,
haven't.
but it's a musical, an animated musical. Like, the art looks like it's from, like, 90s cartoons, kind of, but it's really dark, and it's about hell, basically. And that's what Lucifer's like. So I think I'm definitely pulling this one.
I love it, though.
That's what's on my mind.
One of the other legends is that the church just vanished overnight, which this was kind of believable because the church kind of did just vanish overnight because it was demolished, like, really quickly, and it wasn't really announced. So it's definitely, like, it's very likely you could have been, like, driving by, like, on a Saturday, and then you come back on Sunday, and you're like, what the hell? The church is gone. Like,
yeah.
So that one actually is kind of believable how it came about because the church was demolished very quickly, and it wasn't really announced. So people, like, probably did seemingly vanish overnight.
Why is it gone?
Yeah. So it's that's the only one that probably has some truth to it. This was kind of some of these were kind of fun. So when the church was still standing, there was a claim that if you took a bottle and marked it with an inverted cross, that it would not break when you would throw it against the wall of the church. And if it did break, then that person would die.
Oh my god.
So I don't know why you would play that game.
I don't want to play that game. It sounds like a terrible game.
And, like, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't like those. No, thank you.
And then another kind of legend about the church is after it lost its roof in 1996, allegedly no rain ever fell inside. Like, water did not
How do we
reach.
verify that? Like, every time it rains, someone's like, I gotta go check. I gotta see if it's
And, like,
it's
oh my god, it's not wet inside.
It's not wet inside again. What? The devil. This is feeling a lot like the whole how holy nuns don't decay thing that you talked about. It's got the same energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, we dug her up and she still looked juicy.
Yeah, that means she's holy.
Duh.
Duh.
And if it doesn't get wet inside an old church, it means it's possessed by the devil.
Obviously. There's definitely no scientific reasons for that. Definitely not.
There's no other explanation.
Nope. Too bad we can't investigate because they say on the night before Halloween, a woman in a white dress lures drivers to their death along the highway's edge, never to be seen again. It's always a woman in a white dress.
I know.
Her name's probably Mary.
Probably. Her name's Mary. She wears a white dress, and it looks like she's from the 1800s.
For sure.
But she also knows how to hitchhike.
Mm-hmm.
Duh.
She's modernized.
Like, ooh, I'm Mary.
It is also said that during a trip to Colorado in the 1990s, Pope John Paul II redirected his flight path of his plane to avoid flying over the unholy ground of Stull.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that he's like, no, I couldn't possibly. I'm not holy enough to survive the trip.
Yeah, well, I know, right? Of all people, it's like, why don't you make that? Why don't you fix it?
No, I must avoid the devil. Fly around him.
So the story came from an alleged article in Time magazine in the early 1990s, but there is literally no physical evidence that this Time magazine article ever existed. So, which just got me, like, thinking it's so funny how, like, gossip used to spread before the internet because there wasn't, like, any way to fact check. So it was just, like, you'd hear a story from a kid at school or your neighbor or a family friend or your aunt, and, like, that's just how these, like, rumors got spread because there was, like, you didn't have the internet back then, so you just like couldn't really check. You're like, did you hear that the Pope didn't fly over Stull? There was an article in Time magazine.
That's true. Like, how do you well, he avoided it.
Yeah. Huh. So it's kind of funny.
That is funny because
I mean, there's other stories like that I've spread, like, but
yeah, because like when would the Pope have been like, I told them, don't fly over that, don't do it.
Yeah.
That doesn't inspire a lot of confidence.
No. This one has no, like, factual truth, but another rumor is that the original name of the town was Skull.
Oh, I wish it was still that.
And that they changed it to Stull to simply cover up the fact that the area was steeped in black magic. Mm-hmm.
Skull. Oh, man, Skull would be an amazing name if they kept that.
But really, that's just because I think it's so close to Stull. But the first postmaster was Sylvester Stull.
Right,
so
like, that makes sense. I'm like, no, it was Stull Cemetery. Totally.
And this is kind of a fun little rumor. This is my last one. That there's a rumor that the zip code begins with 666. Which is not true, but Topeka, Kansas, which is just like nearby, it does begin with 666 zip code. Which it's also the state capital, so, politics... That makes a lot of sense that their zip code would be 666. It's like 66. Mm-hmm. But.
The devil's in Kansas.
Sure is. Might not be Stull, but it's Topeka, where those politicians are.
Topeka's kind of gnarly. But they do have a decent zoo.
Yeah. I've never been to the Topeka
It's
zoo.
fine.
It's fine.
When I first moved here, the first time I was talking about going to Topeka, I went Topeka, and I was mocked. Topeka.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's Topeka.
Well, it is kind of, where was I listening to the other day? Was it a pod? Oh, I think it was like radio DJs, and they were talking about like, if you weren't from this area, you would have no idea how to say the city of Olathe. Like, it's Olathe. You'd be like, Olath.
Yeah, like, I'm thinking if I hadn't heard people say it, I probably would have said Olathe.
Yeah.
Totally.
But it's Olathe.
Yeah, because I've heard enough people say it now that I know it's Olathe, but it's Olathe.
And I was watching some, like, I don't know, some show on the History Channel about Kearney, Missouri. They came, like, to Jesse James, and they called it, like, Kearney. And I was like, no, that is not right. Kearney. But that's what it looks like. But it's like, it's Kearney. It's not Kearney, it's Kearney.
Kearney.
Anyways. God, we are very
We
off topic.
are a little...
But, in 2013, Ariana Grande visited Stull Cemetery.
Okay.
In an interview, Grande told Complex that she visited Stull, but didn't stay there very long because they were overwhelmed by the smell of sulfur. And she took, like, a picture that's since been deleted from her Instagram where she, like, alleged, like, you could see figures in the background. And then she said, like, starting 2 weeks later after her visit, she would hear whispers in her ear, and she was seeing strange, like, black figures in her room at night. And so she just deleted all, like, evidence of visiting there and was like, I'm sorry I visited.
That's kind of cool.
And it all stopped.
I was trying to see if somebody'd, like, take a
I'm sure, yeah,
screenshot
you can find it.
Now I'm curious.
We'll have to post it. I couldn't really see anything in the photo, but...
Oh, so it is there somewhere?
It exists on the internet. If you post something on the internet, it will never go away.
I know. It's like, it has to be around there
Someone screenshotted it at some point.
I'll have to look later, because it's going to be hard to verify if that was her picture or not, but...
So, I'd be more, like interested, I don't think the cemetery is haunted by the devil, but I think it's possible it's haunted. I mean, that's likely, just the different stories and all the bodies buried there. And I'm sure, like, when there was the dilapidated stone church, that probably made for good ghost stories, because that would be really creepy. So it would be kind of cool to, like, investigate it, but that's not going to happen. So
I know. That's kind of a bummer. But, I mean, we could find there are other cool cemeteries we can go to, because we need to go to some and do that, like, devil chair hide and seek.
Oh, yeah.
We need to find those.
There's other cemeteries we can visit that aren't.
Well, we need to find what those other gates of hell are, though.
Yeah, there's one. I was, like, trying to figure it out. Like, there's one allegedly in,
Road
I think,
trip.
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. So what are gates?
Hell.
hell.
Yeah, I know. I think we could do like a whole series on the gates of hell.
York County, Pennsylvania. There's an urban legend that entails the 7 gates of hell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I keep seeing reference to Seven Gates of Hell, but I can't actually find a list of the 7 gates of hell. So I think people just like to say the number 7.
Oh, the 7 gates of hell is a modern urban legend specifically about the Pennsylvania area.
Oh, so maybe that somehow just got transferred to Stull.
There's a gates of hell in Collinsville, Illinois.
Sounds about right.
I have a feeling there's probably a lot of gates of hell.
In Illinois.
Just anywhere.
Yeah, true. Anyway. Yeah, so in summary, don't visit Stull, or you might see Satan, or at the very least you'll get arrested.
True. I guess there's like no upside.
There's no win.
Like, be kind of fun not to. I think I'd almost rather see Satan.
Oh, for sure.
That's sad.
Then get arrested.
Yeah.
At least if I see Satan, it won't be on my record.
I know. Isn't that so sad? We're more worried about the societal consequences than potentially going to hell.
Oh.
Wow. I feel like that's something to think about. That's not good.
I should probably go back to church more regularly.
Nah. As far as I'm concerned, Satan's just this happy little guy that sings. So, I think it'd be good.
It's fine. It'll be fun.
Well then.
I don't know how to end this,
I don't know either.
That's my little story about Stull.
Little story about the gate of hell.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was a good episode. I liked it. I liked learning about the whole cemetery we can't visit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I do think it's very interesting how much they don't want people to go.
Yeah.
Like, that's
like
unusual.
Yeah, they're kind of like, why so protective? I was kind of thinking more as like, I guess they're just like, don't want, the cemetery to get further damage and stuff. So they're trying to protect it, but it's like they're protecting it so much to the extreme. Because I think a lot of it has died down now. I mean, you still would get quite a few people visiting it, but I think it wouldn't be as destructive as it probably was in the 70s and 80s. I shouldn't say that. Like, there's still going to be people who'd want to party. Because when we visited Felix's grave, there was definitely a lot of broken bottles.
Yeah, that was definitely still happening. And even that had, like, light security with them not wanting people to go there. So I almost feel like maybe...
technically, yeah, we weren't supposed to enter that cemetery.
We were stopped, technically.
That's true. And we were just like, no, we're just going hiking.
Yeah, like, he totally knew we were actually going to see that. He just gently discouraged it.
Yeah.
But... yeah, maybe it's the element of it being a cemetery, too, where it's just people are...
they want to keep it respectful.
Yeah, and we're, like, respectful, but I guess there's
a lot of people aren't.
Yeah, and I guess at the same time, though, if you make it a spectacle, there is a layer of just natural disrespect, even if you're not abusing anything, technically.
Yeah.
They're dead, so...
yeah, it'll be interesting as, like... I don't know if there's, like, new people moving to Stull, or as these people die off, like, will a younger generation be like, I'm going to embrace this
it might eventually
supernatural
happen, yeah. Like, eventually it could just get to that point eventually then.
Or there's pockets of the Midwest that are still hyper-religious, so it might just always stay
that way forever.
Stay that way forever, and we'll never, ever, ever investigate it.
Maybe when we're 80.
Yeah, and then I'm like, I don't care if I'm arrested at 80.
No, take me, come on.
Cross it off my bucket list.
Oh, they arrested me.
Yay!
You'd be a menace.
I'd be a menace.
Like, I hope it's a cute policeman. Oh, put me in the back of your car. Manhandle me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like act up.
Oh, officer.
Gonna have to tackle me.
You start running. Better catch me. I hope this is our future as old ladies, because I want to be absolute menaces.
Yes.
Oh my god. That's amazing.
It's our future.
I'm looking forward to it. If we're still doing this when we're in our 80s, we need to break into Stull Cemetery.
Yes. So we're tabling it for now. In 50 years, we're gonna go visit.
Yeah. Just get a permanent record started for us when we're...
Maybe we need to buy a house in Stull.
Okay. And then we'll totally...
And then we'll be part of the town, and then we'll be like, you have to let us into the cemetery because we are residents.
Those old grannies are at it again. Let us into the cemetery. Want to see the devil. Every Halloween we stand outside of it. Let us in.
We had a birthday cake.
Happy birthday.
Satan. I don't know why Satan's birthday is on Halloween. It just seems like it would be.
Oh my god. This has to happen.
Yes.
Oh, I think that's a good
So
place
expect an invitation 50 years from now for Satan's birthday party.
Pencil it in.
Pencil it in.
It's happening.
So,
I think that's a good place to end it, I guess, before we come up with another way to incriminate our future selves.
Would you like to say your catchphrase that we learned is from The Office? Did we say that in our last episode? We might have.
I have no memory.
We thought maybe it was our friend Nick's original, but he's obsessed with The Office, so it's very fitting that he got it from The Office.
But it's okay, we can still say it. We'll catch ya on the flippity flip.
Yeah, stop farting.
I can't.
Dante, following Virgil, comes to the gate of hell. Hail!
I just choked on my coffee. Hail!
He is seized with terror and falls into a trance.
Shit. Sorry.
Okay.
My computer booped.